Emotions, something that we all have going on. Let's look at this definition of fear. Fear is the response to a perceived threat or danger. It triggers the fight or flight response and includes emotions like anxiety, apprehension, and terror. We're going to go do a deep dive on a bunch of different emotions. Additionally, we have a list of over 200 of these and some other ones, just some tips and tricks on how to help manage our emotions, improve our emotional intelligence, and be happier and healthy people. Cheers, friends. Let's do the morning show. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline. I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So, good morning, everyone. We're on episode 381, and today we're going to be talking about emotions. We're going to be talking about emotions. Oh, fun. We have some emotions, and just to get a quick agenda out, we're going to have a list. 200 emotions, but essentially we have this nice list of 200 emotions, but don't worry, I'm not going to go over every single one. We're just going to do a nice list of the 6 basic by Paul Ekman. He was an American psychologist, and he was really profound in his work and his impacts. Also things like facial expression and other things he did that he grew throughout his years. And so 6 basic emotions, we'll go over those. Essentially, we want to be able to talk about and hint on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. We can call this EQ for short, right? The importance of EQ and how we play in it's the information age. We're drowning information. We're starving for wisdom. And I think a lot of this wisdom is going to come from our ability to interpret and understand emotional intelligence. And then lastly, we're just going to go over the steps and benefits, how to, so a little bit of how to, and then just manage our emotions. So a little too on the how-to on the management side, but without further ado, let's get to work. We got a whole lot to do, not a whole lot of time. We're just not here long enough, but we don't want to be in a rush, right? We want to be able to enjoy the morning. So if we take anything away from this, we're trying to understand ourselves at a higher level to enjoy this morning. So thank you so much for tuning into the morning show. Let's go ahead and get going with it. So how to master our emotions. How to master our emotions. I think the first step within this is to recognize and acknowledge your emotions, giving things a name. I'm sure that you've heard this in pretty much every field possible, the importance of recognition, the importance of raising self-awareness, the importance of naming and identifying what you are feeling. And so today, this weekend, whenever on this fun, fantastic, beautiful Friday, I can see the sun popping out. Grateful for that. When we have an emotion come up, try to name it. Try to gain some awareness on it. What is the situation around us? I think awareness is the first step. So that's where we start with today's episode. It's just getting more recognition and acknowledgement towards your emotions, recognizing them as emotions. These emotions are not you. This is something that you are feeling in a very short temporary time. They are not you. They are not your mind, not your body, not your soul, or however deep we want to go with this. It's a feeling. It's a sensation. So we want to just be able to allude to the next one is after we recognize and acknowledge, let's leave the judgment at home. Woo! I mean, we're not even in our home. That's the last place we probably want it, right? Is to in our house where we're trying to relax, where we're trying to feel peace, where we're trying to rest, where we're trying to be with our families, where we're trying to eat and nurture our bodies. Let's leave the judgment out of here. If we can let go of judgment, this is one of the hardest things to do for human beings, for humankind. This is the ultimate test. The test of tests. Can you let go? Can you let go of the judgment around these emotions? When I feel a certain emotion and I don't just acknowledge that being human is pretty hard and it's weird and complicated and very so little is understood still about human beings. We're still trying to figure it out. And if we bring a bunch of judgment and pressure and putting it on top of ourselves, kicking ourselves in the gut, punching ourselves in the gut, then yeah, it's probably going to be a rough ride. So maybe on to our second step is to not judge ourselves. So we name the emotion and then we don't have judgment around it. This is something that I'm feeling right now. This is part of my experience right now. Not forever. You're not going to feel any particular emotion forever. That's why there's not just one emotion. That's why you're going to see over here in a second, I got a list of about 200 of them. So don't worry, none of these are temporary and they're going back and forth between a whole bunch of them. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. So let's let go of some. Let's let go and express your emotions, getting into the third step of here. So first we recognize and we acknowledge the emotions. I am feeling angry. T-Dog is all riled up this morning. I'm pretty pissed off. This is going on. But I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm going to take the observer's view. I'm going to take the witness's view of myself. 10,000 feet up, looking at little T-Dog in his office this morning and saying like, oh, okay, he is mad. And I think expressing that is very, very beautiful, very, very handy. This is where, again, the whole emotion things, and I think women are better at expressing their emotions than men are. I think women have just stronger emotions than men do too. But either way, when it comes to emotions, they are inside of us. And the only way they get out of us, I believe, is through an energy transfer, through expression, through interpretation, through communication with another individual, another being. If we can get these out, and the beautiful part is if you're really that uncomfortable with it, there's ways to express it. You can talk to a phone and you can record what is going on with yourself, rewatch it, and take the observer or the witness's point of view from there. I have a lot of clients who do that, and it works pretty good. Or you can tell a friend. Or again, if you don't want to talk to a human, you can journal. You can write a letter. There's so many outlets and forms of expression. But when we do not express, when we do not release, which is probably the better word here this morning, is when we do not release these emotions, it becomes very, very heavy. They start to pack on the weight. They need to be let go so we can move on and continue to adapt. And what is the only constant? What is the only constant in the universe? We know the answer to this question. It is change. And as things change, we need to let things go so we have room for letting other things in. So think of a hoarder at somebody's house. Are they going to have a nice open space where they can have guests and where they can host dinners and where they can light candles and be happy, healthy, singing Kumbaya in the house? No, they don't got any room for that. And if we don't express our emotions, then we don't have any room for the new ones. As we grow and evolve, the new better emotions, the stronger ones. And I wanted to get into this like sadness and anxiety life hack. So I actually got this from Alex Hormozi. So shout out to Alex Hormozi. You're the absolute business god. You're just, him and his wife Layla are just absolutely incredible. Hopefully I get to meet you guys one day. That'd be a privilege and honor. But he had this sadness and anxiety hack that just dropped my jaw to the floor. So when you are feeling sad, it is usually because you feel like you don't have options. You're stuck in the mud. The S in sadness, stuck in the mud. You're absolutely stuck there. You have no options. Nowhere to go. What is the opportunity for alleviating that sadness? Knowledge. So when we learn things, so next time you're feeling sad, try learning something new and see if it helps you. The last time I was feeling sad, I just learned something new and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm learning about emotions. I'm learning about how my pets affect my life or any of the other show topics that we talked about this week. Sadness. So next time you're feeling sad, learn something new. The next one is anxiety. So sadness and anxiety are really ripping humans apart right now. So that's why they gained their whole slide of their own. But anxiety, next time you're feeling that anxiety, make a choice. Anxiety is when we have too many options, we feel anxious, overwhelmed, and we need to just make a choice. Yesterday, I was feeling anxious, and I was like, I can do this, and I'm sure if you're a business owner, you run your own business, or you just have like so many of us have tons of responsibilities with work and life and our health and all this, it's very easy to get overwhelmed nowadays. Very easy. There's just so many options. And next time this comes up, decide. All you have to kill the anxiety, to destroy it, decide on what you're going to do right here, right now. I'm saying right here, right now in this moment, just decide on what you're going to focus on. And when you narrow the focus to just one activity, I promise it'll melt away. It is insane. Or reach out to me if you want to sit down and you want to talk more about your anxiety, things that you're trying to do and improve on it. I would love to chat with you. You can always reach out to me. You can go to talktotanner.com, book a free call. You can always chat to me whenever you want. If I can be helpful, I'd love to. But with anxiety, it makes me like laugh how simple it is, but it is nuts how much it has helped me. So shout out to Alex. This has been a great pointer. When I feel this anxiety, I have too many options and I just decide and do one thing. Yesterday, I was feeling anxious. I just decided, I was like, I'm just going to clean the floor. I'm just going to clean this up and then I'm going to do this. And then I said, I'm going to watch this sales training, this one sales training, and boom, tunnel my vision and just do some work. And the anxiety went away magically enough. I was like, holy crap, this stuff does really work. But either way, so I wanted to share that sadness and anxiety hack. It's either no options, so we need to learn something, or we have too many options, so we need to just pick something and just do it already instead of stewing and worrying. Okay, back on to mastering our emotions. Mastering our emotions. So this next one is setting boundaries. So there's a lot of situations and areas and times that can be very triggering to our emotions. Emotions are a tool of survival. That's really what this stuff is it is hardwiring our bodies to respond in certain situations for us to be able to do the number one goal of life, to reproduce life, to protect life, stuff about life, right? So setting boundaries. So there might be a few things, there might be a few people, there might be a few topics or whatever that we might need to set off limits. Or if that's not even an option, we'll have to really work hard, meditate a lot, really just zone in, let the judgment go, acknowledge, do our steps that we were just talking about, recognition, do not judge, express to somebody, a therapist, a life coach, journaling, something. We need some type of expression. So to help with the boundaries. So we set the boundaries. There's as many different opportunities for boundaries as there is people in the world. What my boundary system works for me will not work for you, vice versa. So this is going to be a personal journey. I know everyone hates hearing that, but it's the truth of the matter. Whatever boundaries you need to set for your emotions is up to you. And this is so important because everyone gets triggered, whether you're PC or you're not, or whatever the hell's going on in 2023. I don't know anymore, right? I'm sure you don't either. But we need some type of boundary system. There's just too much. The floodgates are open. Artificial intelligence, the internet, robots, whatever. There's just so much coming in to our brain. We need to set boundaries. We need to put up the walls in some way and create like some type of funnel system so we get what we want and we need, and then we let the rest of it go on by. So beautiful stuff. Setting boundaries comes in. It's something we want to acknowledge and know. Next up is substances and emotions. So if you are struggling with your emotions, really understand that we need to be healthy. Too often, people I know, or this is just my personal experience, my emotions get riled up when I start to drink alcohol more than a couple times a week. So if I'm drinking alcohol a lot, or if I'm smoking marijuana too much, or if I'm doing nicotine or something like this, substances, my emotions are starting to run a little wild. Substances have an impact on your emotions, and you might be more emotional than me. I might be more emotional than you. Again, we talked about the levels and the varying, every emotion you'll see. It's like anger can be a 1 or anger can be a 10. You know what I'm saying? So there's levels to this stuff. And I think substances and can have such a major impact on the intensity of the emotions that come in, because it's messing up our chemicals, like, or maybe the food that you're eating. Maybe you're eating too much sugar or just processed foods in general. This stuff impacts our emotions, whether we like it or not. It's not a luxury. It's just a fact that this stuff has an influence, has an impact. So if you're struggling with your emotions, I'd say clean up your diet, be totally sober for a couple weeks. Give me 14 days. Give me 14 days, 2 weeks, and see how that does. And then just see if the emotions are alleviating a little bit, if you're getting a little bit of sense of a relief. And if you're not willing to do that, can we really sit here and be that surprised that you're feeling despair or like, I'm looking at some other ones, fright, man, there are so many, hate, hurt. There's I'm looking at my list of like over 200 of these bad boys, but yeah, it's no wonder that you're feeling a whole slew of these ones, and on the negative side, when the substances are getting doubt, dread, all of these stuffs can completely dominate ourselves when we're using substances. So just acknowledging that and gaining awareness, no judgment, that I want to drink some beer when I hang out with my friends, that's fine. But if I'm drinking beer more than a couple times a week, am I surprised that I feel guilt and shame? Not that surprised, right? Stuff, cause and effect, action, reaction. Next up on our list is professional help. So if you clean yourself up, you do the right remedies, you're eating healthy foods, you cut sugar out, you're not eating processed foods, you're not drinking alcohol, you're not consuming nicotine, you're not smoking a bunch of pot. If you're not doing these things and you still are struggling very much so, professional help is there. It really is. You can reach out to me. I know a slew of online resources. Maybe you can look into wherever you work. Maybe they have some options for you. Maybe you can look at just other online resources. I have a class that is called the One Page Life Plan. That thing is absolutely money. It's really helped me manage my emotions, manage what I want, who I am. Just such fun. If you want to do a bit of like a journey with like a life coach or something like that, whatever you want to do, professional help is there, and you might need it. But I personally like the home remedies. I like to clean my slate first and see what's up. And then it's like, okay, I clearly am not good at this. I need some help. And it's okay to get help. I think for so long, and I don't know if this is, I'm sure this is also for girls as much as it is for guys, but for a long time, it felt like a weakness if you needed help, a weakness if you needed to express your emotions, weakness. And it's like, man, there's nothing but strength here, because when you can control your emotions, when you can be in the driver's seat, when you can feel more joy and less sadness, that's strength, because you're not only improving your quality of life, you're improving everybody around you. When you feel a particular type of emotion, your family feels it too. Your friends feel it. Everyone in your sphere feels that crap. So it's not just about us. And I think that's important to recognize that we're all in this together, right? Universe transcends and includes all. So we want to make sure that we're getting professional help if we absolutely need it. Next up is a little bit of judgment coming in for other people. So we were just talking about, okay, Tanner, yep, I got my emotions. This is going on. That's going on. That's all fine and dandy. I think people can wrap their heads around that pretty good. But what always surprises individuals, surprises myself, is I'll know that I'll be feeling a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of discouragement, a little bit of disbelief. And then, but when other people experience these emotions, I'm like not that sympathetic. I'm like, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they acting like that? Why are they acting like this? Why aren't they doing this? They said they would be doing that. It's like they're getting overrode by their emotions. So I put under here on the banners, what I feel is what you feel, kind of. So the emotions I feel are not going to be the exact same strength type of emotions that you feel day in and day out. They're not. But we can acknowledge and be empathetic that I am feeling emotions. They are feeling emotions. And when I feel anxious, there's not like a little buzzer that goes off on my smartwatch saying like, okay, at 3:30 p.m. today, I'm going to feel anxious. We don't know when this stuff's going to hit. There's triggers. We can just be baffled and bewildered by a whole bunch of different stuff here, left, right. We don't know. And so now I'm gaining empathy and understanding that other people are feeling those like adverse emotions in different times. They're feeling them. They're feeling them at, say, I feel this at 3:30. They might be feeling it at 7 o'clock at night. And then that might be the time where I'm communicating with them. I'm talking to them. I need their help or something. I think we become too impatient with other people when it comes to emotional stability. Like we expect everyone to be all put together when it's convenient for us. But it's like, dude, like Jesus. Like I was just like 3 hours ago, I had anxiety. I was feeling sad. I was all riled up and mad, but then I got over it. I alleviated it. I learned a few new things. I took some action. My anxiety went away. Okay, I'm good. Now I'm going back out, and then I'm engaging with someone who's all like riled up, doesn't want to talk to me, doesn't ask me any personal questions, doesn't really care about me. And it's like, yeah, no figure, because they're freaking out themselves in their own situation. So I want to just put that on there because I think it can be a true saving grace if we can instill this skill and this ability to be more empathetic with other people and their own emotions. Like, I'm not saying just let people be total buttholes all the time, right? But what I'm saying is when people screw up and when people aren't fully engaged with you right here, right now, when you're ready to go, they could be feeling some emotions. And that doesn't mean you need to be their therapist and like ask them a million questions. No, it's like, how are you doing? Anything I can help you with? We'll do just fine. Okay. Now we want to get onto our list of emotions. On here, I have a list of 200 emotions, over 200 emotions. And then additionally, I just have 6 basic emotions. So let's go ahead and share my screen. So these are over 200 emotions. And so the point of this isn't to, there's just so many, right? So human beings, we're over in left field, we're over in right field, we're up, down, left, right, center all the time. The point of this is that we can feel very differently all the time. And it's going to take hard work to really recognize, understand what's going on with ourselves. It's going to take a few extra tries. So go ahead and just maybe going over a big list like this or something like this can be very helpful with your emotions. But I thought this was a bit overwhelming. Like 200 of them, Jesus, dude, come on. All right. So we're going to just go over 6 real quick. So this is from Paul Ekman. These are just 6 basic emotions. And I think that you can take the bulk of these and you can you can funnel them into each one of these, but really. So we want to raise awareness. Next time you're feeling happiness, this could include joy, contentment, and satisfaction. We want to really embody that and be excited about that. Let's zoom this in a little bit. Maybe you guys can see it a little better. Okay. So for happiness, you just want to, when this stuff comes up, when happiness comes up, think about where are we at? What are we doing? What's around us? I think this can pull even more gratitude out of us and can be a great one. Sadness represents feeling of loss, disappointment, or unhappiness. So sadness can be either mild to profound. And I think all of these can be rated like from like 1 to 10. You can either be feeling a level of 1 sadness, say if you didn't get a sale, to a level 10 sadness, one of your kids died. Holy crap. There's such a wide range of these. And also it's important to acknowledge that these can be mixed or they can be covering them up. So something I've learned in therapy and I've learned in coaching a lot, anger is the emotion that arises when you feel frustrated, annoyed, or provoked. But what's really under anger? Usually sadness. So we can have more empathy for people. We can have more empathy for ourselves because it can be disguised. So next time you're angry, are you actually sad? Like, what's going on? What do you need to do? Do you need nurturing? Do you need to talk to a professional? Do you need to journal? Do you just need to take a moment and breathe? Oh man, that feels just for a second. My gosh, right? So we see how complicated this can start to get. Fear, common emotion that comes in number 4 of our list. So happiness, sadness, anger, fear, man. The fear of the unknown. Want to highlight the unknown. So when it comes nowadays with so many opportunities and us feeling more anxious than ever, this is what's gotten me more than anything. Sometimes I'm scared to just make the call, to just do the work. I'm scared of being successful sometimes. Isn't that crazy? Scared of being successful. Scared of doing what I know I can do. Scared of taking the action. Scared of taking the leap. And this fear built up over time can turn into anger in myself, which is really just sadness underneath. So the layers of the onion, crazy how this all piles together. Next up, we have for 5, surprise, got that on the list. So surprise, just unexpected or the unfamiliar. It's going to either be positive or negative. It's going to be pleasant surprise or negative. And it's just a spice of life, right? I think having variety is good. We just want to make sure that the surprises that we have are how we handle them is very, very important. We want to be able to handle these right. Next up, we have disgust. So 6 on the Paul Ekman's 6 basic emotions, we have disgust. So it's a reaction to something unpleasant or offensive, often related to things that may be harmful or contaminated, is a protective emotion that helps us avoid potential harm. So if you're disgusted by something, it seems like a good opportunity to look into it or to really, I think the word disgust or disgusting gets thrown around probably a little bit too much. So maybe we want to just look at what we find distasteful and revamp it and trying to understand it a little bit deeper, because disgust isn't in, like, for example, in like politics or something like that. We're not disgusted with the other people. We don't agree with them. They can make us angry. We can be scared of what they could be potentially be doing. But disgust is something that from like, it's an emotion that really tries to help us. So maybe creating a positive relationship with it, seeing like, okay, I'm feeling this for a reason. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to dive in and see what's up. So those were the list of emotions. We went over a list of 200 of them, and we didn't go over each one of these. I'd be lying saying we are going to take the time to do that. But we kind of narrowed these down. I thought it was really helpful. It was just a good vocabulary builder. If you couldn't tell, I was trying to chuck in a bunch of these different words as we're talking through the morning show this morning. So maybe you just want to sound a little, know what you're doing, or maybe you want to find a little that maybe these could represent as values, or maybe these could just be working points that you want to work on. Do you feel envy more than you wish you did? Do you feel jealous more? Do you feel fear? What is your relationship with fear? Or maybe you want to just look up what some of these mean. I don't know what flocky means. Flaky. Oh, geez, if I could read this morning. Focused, fondness, friendliness, fright, frustrated, fury. Yeah, so just checking these out, maybe learning more about it, but we pretty much nailed them down to the 6 most basic emotions. So Paul Ekman, shout out to him. But that's all I have for today. We went over time by a lot. It is the 30-minute mark, but I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys did as well. There's so much to learn on emotions. Emotional intelligence, I believe, is the big opportunity for human beings coming in. We're in the information age. We're drowning in information. We're starving for wisdom. And I think this wisdom piece is going to tie heavily with our ability to handle our emotional intelligence. How do we handle someone else's opinion that differs from ours? How do we handle when someone's in a state of despair, when they're feeling like crap, when they're sad, when they're angry? How do we handle these situations? How do we handle our own emotions when they come up day to day through certain activities? Ask yourself how you're handling these things. Be inquisitive and follow these steps, man. These really do work. Recognize, don't judge yourself, express to somebody something, the sadness, anxiety, life hack, set some boundaries, substances and emotions. Maybe we need to clean up a little bit and maybe getting some professional help. Also, what I feel is kind of what you feel, kind of different, same, but different, if you know the movie. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. If you got a lot of value out of mastering your emotions, this is a guide to emotional intelligence, episode 381 this morning of Rockin' of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show. If you got some value out of this, share it to your favorite social media, clip it, save it, whatever you got to do to help master these emotions. I love you all. And well, in case you needed to hear it this morning, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. When the emotions come up, let's use these steps to try and master them a little bit better. Thanks, friends. I'm out of here. I'm off for the weekend, folks. Woo woo! So it is. It's going to be a fun weekend. I get to go to this like little Scarecrow festival. I'm going to see some of my family. I'm going to watch some MMA fights. I'm going to watch my favorite football team. I'm going to take my dog on like 5 walks, maybe go to a park. It's going to be a good weekend. Can't wait. You guys enjoy your weekend as well. And I'll be seeing you all bright and early, Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Cheers, friends. Peace.